What the fuck is going on, everybody? It's your host, Nick Bocklidge, and it's the WTF show, Winning the Flex. Excited to do a couple drafts. It's been a while. First stream of the week. Been a busy week for me. Have some news that we'll probably be going over. We got these old dusty RBs signing with new teams. Just saw Cam Akers sign as well. I do have a guest on. Going to be bringing him in a moment. But before I do that, we do have hey sus. You know what? Screw it. Come right in.
I busted right in this room. Happy to be here with you, Nick. Happy to be part of the WTF stream today.
I'm always happy to have you, sus. You know ball, you know what you're doing, and appreciate you coming on. So as you can see in the middle pick right here, we do have a sub goal. 500 subs is going to be the goal, and once I hit 500 subs, we will be doing a 12-hour live stream. We'll be having guests on, and then we'll be doing giveaways. So I do plan on giving away 12 BBM entries, 1 BBM every hour. Gonna be a lot of fun, more stuff to be included. But yeah, so if you're not subbed up, come on, sub up, like the video. It helps out with the algorithm, and gonna be doing a lot more streaming as the summer is rolling on. But you already introduced yourself, Sus. How are you doing? How's your week? Happy Friday, my man.
Doing all right, man. Just chugging along. Bestball summer hitting us hard. A bunch of new contests dropping, filling. Got to keep up with it all. And, we'll have our options cut out for us today. How have you been doing? How have you been drafting?
I feel like this week I slowed down a little bit just because in real life I was more busy, right, with work and stuff. But feeling pretty good. I feel like I've been in the zone lately. I know what I'm doing when it comes to certain pockets of the draft. And, I'm excited to kind of go over some things, talk about, some different, I guess. Oh, one sec. My bad, guys. But one of the things I want to ask you is like, when you're a volume drafter and you're doing 3, 5, 600 drafts, maybe even 1,000, how do you keep yourself, I guess the word is, grounded when you're doing drafts? You're not picking the same players all the time, and you get stuck in a bias.
I will say one thing that I feel is a strength for me personally is I'm pretty good at, when I get new information, I'll move off of my priors. Now, certain priors I'll hold on to strongly because I think certain news is kind of just like fickle and silly, like J.K. Dobbins signing with the Broncos. I think he's going to be a great RB2 there, but I'm not going to go ahead of my skis and start saying he's the RB1 all of a sudden, anything crazy like that. But, I think it is good to have a varied portfolio. The thing that keeps me grounded to not go too crazy with exposures over the course of the full summer is you can, even if you're like completely right on a guy, like many were with Rashee Rice last year, one injury and you're done. So just acknowledging the fragility of the game and having humility that you're probably going to be wrong sometimes. I don't think that means you should load up on guys you don't believe in, but it means even the guys you do believe in can, one ACL and be done. So, I've started mixing in some new week 8 or round 18 clicks. I'm done with Amari Cooper for now. We packed those bags. We'll say sayonara. And now we've got new guys on the menu. We got Miles Sanders. We got Devon Bailey. We got whoever you like.
Yeah, I have some nasty round 18 clicks that I'm sure we'll be getting into.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's smart because this is my third year doing best ball pretty heavy. The first year I had no idea what I was doing. I remember I was drafting double elite quarterback in the second, third round. That was back then with Mahomes, Allen, and was it Lamar at the 2-3 turn? Right? I don't remember.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that, right? So I remember I would do that my first year. I was like, Mahomes and Allen, and then I would tack on like an Aaron Rodgers, and I would be like, I'd feel great about it because I'd be like, man, like all these quarterbacks are stacked up, blah blah blah. And that was my worst year ever. Obviously, I didn't advance hardly any teams. So
and the money's gone.
The money's gone. Yeah. We've yet to have a net positive in this best ball game, but I'm sure that will change this year. And if it doesn't, well, that's why I'm streaming it so it can be caught on tape, right?
Oh,
my
exactly.
yeah, my
This is a
downfall.
business expense at the end of the day.
It's a tax write-off, right? Something like that.
No,
But
I'm feeling good for you this year. I'm seeing your takes. They're
yeah,
locked in 98% of the time. They're all dialed in. And even the ones that you and I disagree with, you have sound process, and I'll probably be wrong on some of them for sure. So I'm
yeah.
feeling good. Whenever you send me a team, man, I'm feeling like, damn, you built another banger. So one of them, all you need is one, right?
All you need is one. I appreciate that. I think I'll say this, like when you do something for a few years in a row and you're drafting so many teams, like for me, I try to always refine my process, my player takes. I do look at other people's and see, like, there's great people out in the community who have success, like Justin Herzog, cover of Rolling Stones, right next to Sabrina Carpenter. Dude has made the finals every single year,
That's
and
crazy.
there's a reason for that, right? Because they say that if you max BBM, I think 8 years in a row, you'll make it, right? So it's like
Like one
one
time, right?
one time out of 8 years,
Yeah.
which is obviously that's terrible. But I do think that it's a skill, and it's how you structure teams, player takes, all that stuff. So I do try to refine, get better each year. I do feel really confident this year. We'll see the results. But yeah, I mean, pretty much that's it when it comes to the process. Now, before we get into a draft, Cam Akers, he's just signed with the Saints. So does that mean RIP Devin Neal? Does that mean RIP Kendrick Miller? Or are you just staying away? Like, are you drafting Cam Akers now, round 18?
I don't think I'm going to be clicking him yet. It would take getting pretty late into the offseason where, and I would need like that good Nick Underhill reporting time and time again on him.
Yeah.
They also brought in CEH, who knows what's going on with his career exactly. But, my initial thought was like, oh, Kendra Miller or Devin Neal must be disappointing. But then, galaxy braining it maybe too much. I kind of wonder, is there a world, people have talked about Chris Olave trade rumors and all this stuff. I'm not sure I really buy that. A young receiver, why get rid of him? But an older, aging running back like Alvin Kamara, is there a world where, Chicago or Dallas or someone in need of a running back could come with like an offer that the Saints can't refuse for an Alvin
Mhm.
Kamara type? Because who needs Alvin Kamara less than like the 2025 New Orleans Saints? Like, what are they really going to accomplish with that?
No, that's a good point. Trades like NBA, there's like 10 superstars getting traded every year. NFL, not much gets down, but I could see Alvin Kamara definitely being moved. I just don't think Saints are gonna be a good team. I mean, you're three
Yeah.
and nine. You're three and the trade deadline is like week 8, week 9, right? So if you're like 2-6, it's like, come on, like try to get like a fourth round pick out of Kamara. That
Yeah.
makes that makes sense.
And there's some teams that could really use them, like really use them. And last year I was stacking Aaron Rodgers on the Jets with Devonte Adams because I was like, dude,
Mhm.
Devonte Adams is not staying on the Raiders all year. You can just tell this is going south. I haven't heard anything on that with Kamara, but it just kind of makes a little sense that if you're looking at like trade deadline possibilities, what
Mhm.
teams are probably going to be selling low. The Saints, I think, are like a bottom 3 team in the league. It's going to be a nightmare with Shucker, Rattler. And I
Yeah,
just wonder if they're bringing in extra body. It's just like a 5% outcome. I'm just like, it piques my interest when you already have like kind of a really solidified 3 running back room and you're bringing
mhm.
in multiple more vets to try out. It's interesting.
No, it is interesting because I think Kamara at his price is already kind of what like at his floor of what he could produce, right? Like he's an RB1 going at RB2 price. So if you do factor in that maybe he gets traded to a better team or situation, obviously I think that would be a win for Kamara. So that is interesting for sure. Zero, he says need to get off that Roshan, my boy. I don't know, man. We dodged Dobbins, we dodged Nick Chubb, we dodged Cam Akers.
Dodge Cam
It's
Akers, the Holy Trinity.
the Holy Trinity. Like Harvard says, with over 20% Roshan, there's no way I could lose, right? If I have 20% Roshan, like I'm guaranteed to be making money this year.
Oh, big facts. The old Uno reverse.
Dude, Stars is the master of that. Sometimes I feel like when I'm talking to Stars, I feel like he's just rank farming So like that's why I don't even try to get in like uh, debates with him anymore.
Hey, rank farming is an honest day's work as far as I'm concerned.
It is true. We always try and get that rank. We agree most in the DMs. That's facts. Can't let the civilians see.
The
Like
glazing's crazy.
the 1,000 league, you had most points, but losing the final sucks. Yeah, I did. My grandpa actually. Shout out, Grandpa Bob. 1,000. I was in a $1,000 league in Yahoo like 3-4 years ago, I think.
Oh my
And
god, like a public league?
public $1,000 league buy-in. First place, I think it was like 6-7 thousand. Second place like 2-3 thousand or whatever.
Oh my
And
god.
crushed it. Like, dude, like drafted amazing. I can't really think of the team too much. Like I had like Jalen Hurts before he went off, had AJ Brown. Remember when AJ Brown and Tyreek Hill was going at the 2-3 turn? Because they both got traded to new teams.
Yeah, yeah.
That was the year. So I took both. So I go Barkley, I go Kelsey. Kelsey still had a good year. That was the last year before he fell off and crushed it. Made it to the finals. And then I had a decision to make, right? So it's me against this guy. I'm staring at, do I start Amari Cooper or Garrett Wilson, the rookie?
Mm.
And then I had Jalen Hurts, who got hurt during that stretch. So I was like, do I start Gardner Minshew or Russell Wilson? And I'll say this: I made the wrong decision. I started Garrett Wilson over Amari Cooper, who Cooper had 2 touchdowns a game,
Mm.
and then I started Minshew over Russell Wilson, who terrible all year, right? Bust with Denver, goes
Yeah.
out, throws like 3 touchdowns against Kansas City. So
Was that the year Minshew was an Eagle?
yes, that was when Minshew was the Eagle. Jalen Hurts gets hurt at the fantasy playoff time. And then Minshew has like a really good game against the Cowboys, I think week 16.
I was at that game, yeah.
You were thinking, okay, yeah, see, yeah, Minshew balls out. So for me, it's like, do I start Minshew, who's on the better offense, or do I take Russell Wilson, who has like a decent matchup?
Right.
Obviously, I mean, it is unfortunate. I got second place, so I still won some money, still cash, but obviously, it would have been nice to get first there. We live when we learn.
Yeah, definitely not going to eat away at you, 2 or 3 years later for sure, as it does on this very day. Just leaving $4,000 on the table, no big deal, no big deal.
Zero says that's an example of overstacking, Nick. LOL.
Mm.
You are not wrong, my friend. And so if anyone, so let's see what drafts we actually have going on. We are going to be entering into a schnauzer. I know Zero said he maxed already. That is not what I want. Are you doing a schnauzer? Did you max the German Shepherd?
I the German Shepherd, that was the $5 one, right? I got in
Yeah.
like 6 of them. That one filled so fast, man. I woke up on the later side, and it was like almost like 90% filled. I was like, all right, I'll get in my 6 and call it a day. The mini schnauzers, I'm doing a couple here and there. I don't know if I'll max it though. Shout out to this one dude, Grant, on Twitter, who does like some studies on like the EV of it all. And so I've
Yep.
been kind of letting like those charts guide where I enter. And he was just saying, that this contest, it's a little tougher to recoup if you max, but it scratches the itch. If you just want to get a draft in, $3, kind of scratches that itch.
Yeah, I saw it. I think it was like a little over 3% of
Right.
you get your money back. And I'll be honest, when I saw that, I was like, "Fuck!" Like that's so low compared to like every other contest that underdog drops.
Yeah, you have a low dollar amount and big field, GG, you're gonna be paying the rake most times, but it's a good way to stay sharp on ADP. Maybe you don't want to enter a BBM that day, or save your BBMs. Keeps the
For
draft
sure.
itch away for sure.
Yeah. That's why I like these lower contests because I do treat them like a mock draft where I'm just, look, I have the itch like wild sometimes where I could pump out like 4 or 5 BBMs in a day.
Yeah,
So these lower contests does help with that for sure.
no doubt. We're not addicted, by the way, but we're just trying to get our fix.
Yeah, right. Not addicted at all, right?
Right, right.
Yeah. So we did poll the 1.7. which in my mind is probably Puka or if a Gibbs or CD falls. How do you feel about Puka lately? I have been trying to get my shares up a little more
Yeah, I'll do some Puka. I usually hate the 107 because I feel like there's a top six. I've
for sure.
sometimes started flipping CMC into that spot because I feel like I can maybe get like an AJ Brown on the way back. Sometimes Drake London falls, Lad. So I kind of mix it up there.
I do too, yeah, because after the 1.6, I do feel like there's a teardrop. CMC, I could take CMC always, like, and I have an 18% CMC. Puka, I think I'm more like 6, 7%.
Get
I,
that
I,
up.
yeah, get it up, and I just, Puka. I don't want to disregard his rookie season. I think he had the best rookie season ever, right? He's just a good football player. Like if he plays 17 games and Stafford stays healthy, Puka is probably paying off where he's going right now. And you're probably arguing he's a top 3, 4 pick next year.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating case of he's super talented, but now you add another super talented wide receiver. And it's like, man, is the touchdown upside there for Puka with Devontae, or does
Yeah.
Devontae take some pressure off of him in a way that Cooper Cup didn't? It's kind of interesting to think through. I definitely have a higher Adams bag than Puka bag at this point, just based on cost.
No, for sure. Like I think the thing with Puka is like Zero says, like,
That too.
hasn't been the healthiest player right now. And I do think Devontae Adams is a significant upgrade over Cooper Cup right now.
Yep.
And then Matthew Stafford worries me a little bit because he was like a few years away from retiring with I think a neck or back injury. So it is a little scary for sure. Where I could understand taking like neighbors, Nico, CMC, whoever over Puka. I just also could see obviously the outcome where Puka, the Rams are firing. So we do get AJ Brown. It's AJ Brown or Lad for me. Who do you prefer?
I'm going to go the BBC route. I'm going to be an AJ Brown guy. It's not just being an Eagles fan. My favorite outcome in drafts right now is when you get that Jalen Hurts fall in the fifth round. That feels
Dude,
so good, and it happens quite a bit.
yeah. Yeah, I can't believe, man. Like sometimes I'll be drafting, like, obviously by myself trying to get that EV in. And these versions, bro, like they just let Jalen Hurts fall to like the late fifth. And
Yeah.
I'm like, man, like the tush push didn't get banned. He still is gonna run for double digit touchdowns. He has AJ Brown, Smith. Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
And I know people say there's like rushing concerns with Philly, but like I think the Chargers are going to also have a similar type situation. And I think Ladd and AJ Brown have comparable type seasons in the end. But we've just seen like AJ Brown, like he's already had back to back 1,400 yard seasons as an Eagle.
Yeah.
If their defense is a little worse, if Saquon gets hurt, God forbid, there's so many routes to AJ Brown getting, and he missed a bunch of games last year too. So he would have had like 1,300 yards. I think AJ Brown really, you can make a really strong case as a late round one pick.
100%. The reason why AJ Brown goes where he goes is because obviously they ran the ball a lot. But AJ Brown was hurt. If AJ Brown doesn't get hurt, he probably is going to be going a couple spots higher because dude on a points per game basis, yards per route, whatever you want to say, like AJ Brown's the same receiver as he's been the last 3, 4, 5 years. It's just last year the Eagles went to real quick. So we have I think Adams right here for me just to go with Puka. What do you think?
We could, if you wanted to do double Stafford. I also like it's up to you. We could try that. I haven't done that too much, so we could try it out if you want.
Yeah. It's just because I do think Adams is a good pick, and if we're betting on Puka, we're betting on Stafford. Stafford stays healthy. Adams is probably going to be pay off his ADP as well.
Yeah, we
That's
definitely got to grab Stafford on this team because if you get both of them, you're saying this offense is like giga smashing.
yeah, for sure, and we will, man. Like I don't think many people are trying to get Stafford if they don't have Adams or Puka. But to AJ Brown, like the Eagles 2 years before Barkley went there, they were passing the ball around like 49, 50%. I think it was 42% where they're passing the ball this year, which is like that's just so low. Like I think I just don't think they're gonna run the ball as much. Like they will want to, but like what if Barkley gets hurt, right? Then AJ Brown Smith are a still at where they're going right now.
And they want to keep AJ Brown healthy. Let's see it. Hernich,
Yeah.
Adams hurts Kyron the most. Yeah, they could definitely increase their pass rate in the red zone for sure. I could just see that for the Rams. Yeah, this is definitely a Mooney team for me. Like I'm keeping in my mind like save a wide receiver spot for Mooney for sure. He's been rapidly rising in my ranks, but yeah,
Kelsey.
yeah.
Yeah.
They've been talking about how they're gonna really feed Mooney this year, and there's all the bearish stuff on Pitts. The Falcons are just gonna sling the crap out of the ball, and it's gonna be the Drake London and Mooney show. They both might get 1,000 yards for Mooney, 1,100 yards for Mooney, and Drake London could have like 1,400.
Yeah. Penix throws the ball. Mooney gonna feast. 100%. I'm Ted here. Who do you have anyone else? I know you like more.
I would be more here probably, but I could go either way. Definitely not Hunter. I like Tet too.
Okay. Yeah. Ted. I've been trying to get my Ted shares up too, where I just think he's a clear alpha. Bryce Young played really good when he got back from the benching. DJ Moore, I've been kind of I'm a little scared with DJ Moore and on the Bears.
So if you'll indulge me, what about it scares you? Because for me, he is a 2-3 turn pick. No second thoughts about it.
So I think, well, obviously there was a quote that Ben Johnson said where I think it was Ben Johnson where he kind of had to check DJ Moore, right? Like,
Yeah.
hey, like, what
Now there was some misreporting. Shout out Hayden Winks, gives me so much great information. He said it happened 3 times. When you read the article, it only happened 1 time. Oh, that's good to know. Get the week 15
sharp. I think I think DJ Moore is a really good receiver, and I just think we know what DJ Moore is. DJ Moore in his career had obviously he's played with a lot of bad quarterbacks, but he's had I think one great year in his like 6, 7, 8 year career, and I think the difference with Ted is just the upside case where if Ted's a really good receiver, he has no competition at all in that offense, and I think I just think he could just provide like 1-2 turn value. I like more. I just think I think it's more. I just like players around him a little more than DJ Moore himself.
Yeah, for me with Moore, he has with like Sam Darnold on the Panthers and like like any like crappy quarterback you could imagine. He had 1,150 yards time and time again. Like with who are like some
Yeah.
of those guys on the Panther? Here, we'll tackle this.
So
I usually like running back here, but Pickens' value is crazy.
Pickens, yeah. I mean, to get Pickens as a receiver 5, it feels really good. I think this receiver room. I mean, if they stay healthy, right, like this receiver room is going to get us to the season for sure.
And with Moore, so he had like who was that? Brandon Allen and like quarterbacks like that. He would have like 1,100 yards, 1,150 yards. So he's never had a good quarterback. He's never had good quarterback play in his career, and he still had a bunch of great years. This is the first time he's ever had what we project to be above league average quarterback play. It's the first time he's had a good offensive coordinator in his career where he's going to be schemed open for like layup throws, yak, where he's not having to work miracles downfield. I think people forget how good an athlete he is. He's like a 91st percentile 40-yard dash guy. Like you look at his season with Fields, like that was not Justin Fields playing well, which we've seen by his contract since then. That was DJ Moore, just a total dog out there. I think he's like a really good football player. He's always been like a 2-3 turn type guy, maybe a 3rd round guy. And I just don't buy these. Like we've all played sports before, we've been on bad teams, and especially when the coach is like setting you up to fail, it's like, yeah, you're going to like crash out a little bit. I think he's going to come back this year. I like Rome a lot too. And I think the two of those guys are just going to eat like an Amon-Ra and a JMO type.
Yeah. I do like Rome. Like I was kind of fading him. Now I've bought in where I think he's a good price at where he goes in the 6th round. You bring up good points. I think DJ Moore's a really good receiver. I think maybe the fear is maybe the coaching staff just I don't know. Maybe they're not as high as Moore. Maybe Burden. I get because I have heard that Burden plays a similar role as DJ Moore, right? So maybe he's gonna step
here.
in
Here, personally,
quick.
I would be a James Conner just to have that locked in workhorse touches since we punted it off a little bit.
Yeah, I'm fine with James
Travion
Conner.
has some fun upside, but I think he should be a little cheaper with his projected volume.
Yeah, I also like Stevenson later as a value too because I think Stevenson's gonna give a bigger workload than what people think. So James Conner, totally fine with here.
Just that
Yeah,
feeling retired.
fuck
Fuck
this.
this.
Michael Rainmaker says, "How much will Realm Aduzi affect DJ more target share?" Parentheses.
I think Rome's gonna have 0. You'd be surprised. Uh, I think Rome's going to have himself quite a year, but I just love a Ben Johnson offense because unlike 90% of the offenses in the league, Ben Johnson for 60 minutes just goes pedal to the metal, doesn't care about running up the score, will throw on you. And I think the Bears are going to have to throw a lot more than the Lions did because they don't have a Jameer Gibbs. They don't even have a David Montgomery. I know we're all Roshan fans here or DeAndre Swift fans, but like in
Yeah.
terms of the quality of the running backs, like they're probably not going to establish that same rushing presence. And like they might just be throw, even in the fourth quarter, just relentless. So I think you could just see crazy years for DJ Moore and Roma Dunze. Bring along the tight ends for a ride, your occasional burden week here and there. I just like how relentless Ben Johnson is.
Yeah, I think the Bears are a good team to bet on. Like honestly, all said and done, like I'll take all of them. It is nice, obviously, when you get cheaper Bears, right? Like which is Rome, Bird, and Loveland. But DJ Moore, we just know he's a good football player, so I don't think he's gonna burn you. But excuse me. But we'll see. Yeah, and we're pissing like crazy, man. 5 straight receivers, and I saw this coming by 0. Bro really said win the flex and 5th player came and hit your lineup. What the fuck?
Hey,
We
James Conner, if he's healthy, is a 4th round pick, bro. He just is,
Yeah.
They don't want to admit it, but I would be Swift or Pollard here.
Run the clock. Man. That's like I like both, man. I think Swift. Let's do Swift. I go back and forth. I think Swift and Pollard are super close, but Swift better offense probably, and yeah, I don't know.
We
They're
just
close.
talked about, how relentless that offense is going to be. They improved the offensive line and they avoided the Dobbins and Chubb thing. So
Yeah. No, and that's the thing too, is like the Bears, like just like the running game is gonna be good. Like I know you hate Roshan with your guts, but to get the starting RB in the 160 potentially is it's not a bad bet, right?
and if I'm gonna piss as hard as we did, empty the bladder, I want to come back with 2 running backs back to back. It's tempting to take the falling like golden value or whatever, but it's like, all right, we're sitting there like week 5 or well, that's a bad example. We have a bye week, but week 6, we're gonna wish we had DeAndre Swift, So.
Yeah, it doesn't help us. Like 6 receivers, we could get cute and do that, but Swift is gonna help us much more than Golden's gonna do.
Yeah, and some guy took Mooney at 80. He must have read my tweet. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Moving the markets, but I think we're
Moving
gonna
markets,
be we're gonna be happy about what we get back here. I mean, knock on wood, a couple running backs still on the board, a couple other
Dude,
things.
yeah. Pollard Jones, I would be more than okay with. What's her team? I mean, I think Josh Allen is probably the best receiver left here. No tight end, RB. Jones, quarterback. There's no stacks we could do right now. So for
No,
me,
not
it'd be
really.
Jones Downs or even Mason. I think
I
Jones.
kind of like Jones falling here.
Yeah, me too. Because this is a good bet we make. We go 5 straight receivers who, where we technically have the most scarce, like receivers are the most scarcity. I can't talk right now. Scarcity is with the receivers when it comes to drafting, right? They move up. That's why pissing and all that. But if you tell me I could go 5 straight receivers and then end up with Connor, Swift, and Jones, fragile, yes, maybe, but the projected volume on the offenses that they are, fucking smash.
Oh hell yeah, dude! And who TF faded us winning the flex after all,
Yeah,
Just saying.
Zero. Do you want to take back your comment about winning the flex when we have Aaron Jones, the starting RB for the Vikings, who might be a top 5 offense this year? Yeah, that's what I thought, man. I'd rather have Chuba Golden for 2v2, but Pickens is fun. Chuba, who would that 2v2 be? Hold up.
Versus Pickens and
Jones, or Swift. So would you rather have Swift and Pickens or Chuba and Golden? I think I'd rather have Pickens and Swift.
yeah, for sure, dude. Pickens is gonna be like a early round 3 pick next year, probably.
He could.
That
He's a
he's giving me T Higgins vibes, where it's like the wide receiver too,
yeah.
but like they're gonna throw so much.
Yeah, let's fucking go. If you're not sub to the channel. Let's get 150 today. Appreciate y'all. Yeah, but yeah, Roshan's back at that big 79. Ah,
Zero's trying to sow discord amongst us. He will not divide us. He will not divide us.
raking YouTube comments. That'd be crazy work, right? If YouTube had a section like that where you could, rank up.
Rank down.
All right, so interesting pick we do here. Are you open to a Mason Noble tap? Are you open to one of these RBs?
Could you just scroll down just for a second? Our wide receiver. Who's our 4th and 5th receiver? Is Pickens and who?
Ted.
And Ted.
Yeah, so we're pretty strong there. Tight end. I'm okay on tight end. Quarterback.
I kind of like the ping pong of Mason and Aaron Jones.
I don't mind that at all, man. 2 cheap RBs on a good offense potentially. We have the game where it's kind of like cheap Jameer Gibbs and David Montgomery. Some might say.
And we're setting up Pickens. We're setting up Stafford. Maybe Bryce Young. That's our 3 quarterbacks. Is that kind of how you would
for
be thinking it?
Yeah, because Stafford, Bryce, Dak, we could do, and then
Fill in the rest.
Yeah, because we're up. Let me see the board real quick. So we pick again at 114 and 127. So
Yeah.
114, Dak, we could do, right? Oh, Dak's
Yeah.
not there. Oh, someone took Dak. Oh, no, Dak's there. Never mind, tripping.
Yeah, I was thinking him at 114. 1 pick before the Lamb guy.
Oh, is it 1 pick before the Lamb guy?
Yeah, he's gonna be sick.
Yeah, let's go. And then 127, man, we could just kind of take, I guess, that might be the tight end range. I really do enjoy the tight ends that go from like here. Stop at Telegraph.
That is literally the sweet spot. If Jonnu can stay in Miami, Tyler Warren, Kraft, and Njoku, those are like severely underrated talents, if you ask me.
Yeah. I agree with that. Does Caleb interest you in all, having Swift and then potentially getting Loveland? Or
if Lamb wasn't on the other side of us, I kind of get it, but I think we just go Dak.
Just go Dak Prescott. Get with George Pickens.
Because he could easily outscore Caleb,
Oh
my
Dak
God.
Goes. Right. Interesting.
Maybe we then do go Caleb, just a little ADP follower for some points. We could set up something with him, and he can run a lot too. He gives us like a rushing floor.
Yeah, that's crazy. So he takes
Dak,
second quarterback. No Cowboys, but maybe he just loves Dak.
Yeah, I mean, that guy's a total moron. He could have gone Drake May. He could have done any number of things. It's just a crash out.
So we get sniped before we were going to snipe potentially the CeeDee Lamb owner.
It's a cycle, man. Can't be broken.
Can't be broken, man. I mean, I think Caleb's a good pick in general. Like, I think he's definitely due for a breakout this year if everything goes well. And I do like, so a lot of people will obviously have Burden, DJ Moore, and Rome, but like I've have teams where I have like a Swift and then I'll pull and get a Loveland because he does fall in some.
Oh yeah, dude, he fell a couple times. I did drafts earlier today. He fell in the 140s. I kind of like pushing him, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm cooking up a disgusting take. I think Cole Kmet might have a better year than Colson Loveland with the shoulder stuff. It's not looking, would it be the craziest thing if like a tight end coming off a pretty big shoulder surgery took a little time to ease in, just more than we'd like,
A 10th overall tight end though. Like if Lovin like missed time for sure, but like if he's fully healthy, in like next month, I can't get with that, man.
It he said rank. No, I hear you. It's just it would not surprise me at all if Loveland had like
The Dawson,
625 yards and these other
yeah.
guys had like 850.
Like, are you talking about the tight ends around him?
Yeah, like the Warrens, the Njokus, and the Crafts.
No, you're
Did
right. Like
Loveland
I think,
go?
yeah, he went. So
Hmm.
receivers, there's no receivers. I would want to take here. RB, it'd be two in if we chose to. Quarterback, um, Drake May, or just take a tight end. I think I'm Kraft here.
Yeah, let's do Craft.
Or two in.
Let's do Craft. He's really
Yeah,
fun.
let's do Kraft. Yeah, yeah. You know what, man? Kraft. I was like looking at like my tight end rankings. I have Kraft over at Kelsey, John New, Evan Ingram, and he's like right there, Mark Andrews, which I don't think that's crazy though.
No, he's an ascending young elite talent. I don't think people realize how much dog he has in him. He's pretty athletic. He's really hard to bring down. And they've talked like LaFleur has talked like multiple times about how like, well, they're like, who's the like leading receiver going to be? This was pre-draft, and he was like, who's to say it's not a tight end? And Jordan Love was just glazing him. Like, I don't know, man. Tucker Craft might be the wide receiver one for real.
That's kind of my thought process as well, where they don't have a true receiver one. Obviously, Golden was drafted to fill that role, probably, but even if he does like hit, he's not a true alpha receiver. He's more of a I don't know, more like a downfield guy, right? I don't think he can command a lot of targets, but Tucker Craft, maybe he's gonna be the next Mark Andrews coming up, right? Maybe he's one of those tight ends that is just really good, and he's the still of the draft for the
Mind if,
tight end position. Yeah.
sorry, mind if I just float one thing here? At what point do we take Drake May?
Oh, right here, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
We're lockstep on that. It's like,
100%. Yeah, yeah. If Drake May, like I would have been okay taking Drake May the previous pick.
and wait, isn't this dude who took Dak the guy who had a Diggs? Like he could have, bruh. Anyway, I'm
Bro,
done crashing out on that dude, but
you know what? Things happen for a reason, right?
everything happens for a reason.
This is the latest I think I've seen Drake May go in any lobby. Pick 138 for the quarterback who averaged 7.8 yards per carry, which is number one in the NFL. Great pick. Let's go. Caleb and Drake. I feel really strong about this.
I'm gonna just go grab my charger real quick for my laptop. I'll be back in like 10 seconds.
Yeah, yeah, do your thing.
But yeah, I can't believe he fell in our lap, man.
Nah, crazy. Yeah, see this? So we had a falling Drake May, 18 picks. Who Drake May, my number one quarterback exposure so far this year. Who went before Drake May? I mean, nothing too crazy, I guess. Just people were taking some tight ends earlier, some RBs earlier. Oh shit. Yeah, that's crazy. Drake May, 138. We got a value on Caleb too. And stacking, like we don't necessarily need to stack May. We obviously can. There are some options we could do with the tight end and then receivers as well.
A little Pop Douglas who's been getting some buzz, a little Hunter Henry action,
Dude, I remember bringing up Pop Douglas a few times, and everyone's like calling me like basically saying I'm a dumbass. But I'm like, dude, like
or
hold up.
worse.
I
No,
think
this,
Ray
yeah,
Davis is the pick here. Get a fifth RB.
I'm with it. Because
Um,
this is going to be, you feeling a 3-6-7-2 or a 3-5? What are you
so
feeling
I
here?
so I'll say this: like if Stafford falls next pick, I think we take him. Three quarterbacks, six receivers. I'm okay with doing probably. I think three quarterbacks, six RBs, and then Kraft. I'm cool with doing two tight end with Kraft, but I think we could probably do maybe a 3-6-6-3.
Yeah, I'm fine with making Kraft a
or we do
like the
craft two
hero
tight
of a
ends.
two. I don't
Yeah,
know, man. I know everyone's putting out this data on like the advance rates of three tight ends, but I'm like, dude, if Tucker Kraft can just give me like a couple playoff weeks with 12 points, that's all I need. What whereas like, Puka gets hurt or Devonte Adams gets hurt,
yeah,
you really wish you had some wide receiver points there.
yeah. I think the tight end thing, it's like just because like touchdowns are random, so it's like,
Yeah.
what if Juwan Johnson again, right? Is the tight end 1 week 17 just because he got lucky with the touchdown. But I'm with you. Like Kraft, I feel good about betting Kraft is gonna overperform his ADP where
Right.
I could stop at two tight end for sure. Um,
Where you bet on him to have that like star breakout. And it was like there were some tight ends last year who like Sam Laporta had like 12 points 3 straight times in the playoffs, and like Johnu was cooking. And it's like if you say
oof.
Kraft is dude, I'd be down for Bryce Young though.
Yeah, I'm okay with Bryce. I
Make
like
it
Bryce.
Stafford is crazy.
Is a niggas no Kyron. I mean, it's a schnauzer, so I feel like it's probably like that. So Bryce Young,
Is
just
there yeah.
yeah. I mean, I know Tank, Roshan.
Yeah, I guess I'll be a responsible adult and go Bryce, especially now that there's some running backs I like later, including one, round 18, round 17.
Yeah, yeah. He's been moving up too. There's a few RB. So we do have one RB left. The RBs I'm like eyeing like Rico. I've been taking a little more of, and then obviously the RB1 for the Cowboys, Sanders.
I feel that's only right, where we can attack some wide receivers we feel better about, maybe get Hunter Henry with the next pick. Um,
Oh, Hunter Henry, definitely we could do. We'll see if he makes it to us though.
yeah. Even if we ended up on like JT Sanders or someone, Gesicki's fine. I think Gesicki could
Yeah.
have quite the year. Mason Taylor, if he's there, as like they're saying he's going to be like the number 2 receiving threat. Um,
You did mention that Kokomet might outscore Loveland, so are you going to be taking any Kokomet?
I think Cole Kmet is going to be an exclusively 3 tight end build type guy.
Yeah.
Like when I get in those type scenarios, I don't feel quite good enough about him to where it would be like a Kraft Kmet situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess maybe I gotta, check myself before I wreck myself. But I really do think Kmet could be like sneaky for just 2025.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think Dawson Knox got drafted when Don Kincaid came, so it's like I don't think there's a huge difference there. Loveland injury. I'm not gonna be doing any Cole Kmet right now, but it's a
Yeah.
long off season, so Hunter Henry here for
Yeah,
sure.
I'm with it.
Yeah, let's go, baby.
That feels good as a two piece, if
Yeah,
you're a
yeah.
little thinner with it.
Yeah, I'm cool slopping at two titans here if we want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hola, what's up, Bendos?
Yo.
Happy Friday night, man. How you doing? Zero says Komet is literally this year's craft, John Ertz. Yeah.
I'm gonna overthink that one. I will overthink it.
I'm 100% overthinking that one. That's crazy. Until it's true. Until Loveland like is out for the year because of the injury, and then Cole Komet just smashes.
Yeah, and then I'll be like, oh, I was always on it. Look at my pre-draft bags that somehow didn't get wrecked. He was my most drafted pre-draft tight end. Commit.
He was for me too. I thought Cole Komet at 160s, 170 was a smash. I was like, yeah, dude, Sam Laporta, Ben Johnson, sign me up. Easy click.
Hey, if they had gotten Ashton Genty there, I thought they were live for Hampton too. I was a little surprised they went Loveland, but it is what it is.
For sure, I was too. I was confident if I had a bet like my life that Bears were gonna draft the RB in the first like 5 rounds, I would have bet my life. I would be like, yeah, of course they got a lot of picks. Like they obviously need the RB. And it didn't happen that way, guys. So I think DeMar Douglas we do take here.
100%.
We can stop at 6 if we want to.
Or
yeah, go
Jalen
ahead.
Coker, number 7. You never know.
Yeah, I'm cool with doing some Coker action. Don't mind that at all. But what do you think of the Douglas hype, man? What do you think how he's the best receiver right now? Obviously, I think Diggs is hurt, so he's probably not participating as much. Then he's battling like rookies like Kyle Williams, and then trash ass guys like uh, Javon Baker and Polk. But my take with Douglas has always been I think he's just a good receiver who got better his second year, and Drake May has a rapport with him. And I don't know. I think DeMar Douglas could surprise some people this year with how late he goes.
And especially on a team like this where, we stumble into May, we want to stack it up a little bit. We don't get one of the primary stacks. And if, you end up on like a 7 receiver build as opposed to an 8 or a 9, you want a guy who can just give you some volume on the bye weeks. You kind of just want those points. Pop Douglas just feels like a very safe volume play. Is he going to get the crazy spike? No, but we don't need that. We have tons of spikes right here. And when they don't spike, Pop Douglas is holding us down with like a solid 12 piece, I like the click now.
Yeah, I think he's a good click. He's securing a role on a ascending offense that real quick. So
I'm probably Jarquez Hunter here as we build out our Rams thing.
Just a Rams bet. Yeah.
Just a Kyron goes down bet,
I like that bet. I mean, we're betting on the Rams. Take the RB one, maybe if something happens to Kyron.
Yeah, and he might have a standalone, like a small standalone role. So
it's a good bet. Yeah.
If for some reason it's like a down passing week for the Rams, we capture that.
For sure. No, going back to your point though, with like Douglas as a 6 receiver, he just feels like he's I just think when I'm drafting this range, like I know he has a role for sure with Drake May. Like I know he's going to be out there on the field, even if he's a slot receiver. And also you have Stephon Diggs, torn his ACL. He's 32 years old. Maybe he's not that good no more. Maybe he's cooked. Kyle Williams, he's a rookie. Maybe he's not that good. The rate on third round rookies hitting is very terrible. So I just think Douglas has some outs in his favor in case.
I totally agree. I'm not worried about Efton Chisholm, but I will monitor the Efton Chisholm. I'll keep my eye on that for sure.
I mean, I've seen the Julian Edelmans. I've seen the Jacoby Myers, both undrafted free agents. Actually, I think Edelman was a 7-round pick, but both came out of nowhere.
Quick question as we come up here last round, we're having a little fun. Hunter Renfrow is getting some glaze. Adam Thielen is 35, 36. Could we have the one share of Hunter Renfrow in the Schnauzer?
Renfrow looks like he's older than Thielen. I'm good on that click. Who's your favorite receiver? Dante Thornton's getting some hype.
How about Elik Ayumanor? I'm starting in 2 wide receiver sets for Cam Ward, who looks pretty dang good.
Let's do it. Let's do maybe the second target for Cam Ward, baby.
I could totally see it, man. They're talking about how he probably looks like a great run blocker. I mean, Brian Callahan's going to love a good run blocking wide receiver. They kind of need one. And like Ridley and Lockett, those are not like real run blocking beasts. Yeah. So Ayumanor is going to be out there. He's kind of the only guy who profiles as a real X receiver. And he's got some speed to be in like that NWI deep shot. They were talking about like Ward was hitting him for Ayumanor for like 50-yard bombs this week in camp. So I don't know. Maybe it's him.
No, it definitely could be. I mean, Tyler Lockett is dust. Dyke is more of a special team player. And then the receiver 2 role is up for grabs. And I do have my money on Elik right now. Yo, what's up, fuck coolers? How you doing? Happy Friday night. He says, yeah, Pop is 5'8", so I can't imagine anything besides slot for him. F and Chisholm hype is what you get when you start drafting teams in February. That is true, man. Whenever there's news or lack of news, I think any news gets just more talked about than the regular week.
And when you get a receiver who comes out of nowhere with like a crazy name, Puka Nacua, it's like, ooh, Efton Chisholm. This is like a unique name. And he's running these like, out routes in the end zone and he looks crisp. I don't know. It's like really pattern matching for sure.
And he's white. He projects as a slot
in
receiver.
New England. Yeah.
New England, Josh McDaniels, like, we've seen this happen multiple times before, guys. So hey, who knows? Could be. So we did draft. I think we drafted the banger 3672. Caleb Drake, Bryce Young feels really strong at the quarterback. All a little past ADP. May farthest I've seen drop. Connor, Swift, Jones, Mason, Ray Davis, Hunter. After going five-star receivers, I think we did pretty well with our RB room here.
100%, especially capturing all the Minnesota running back points, which could be a valuable room.
Mhm.
Chicago, Swift is going to be catching hella passes. James Conner's a workhorse. Please stay healthy. Yeah, you can't do better than that if you start 5 wide receivers.
Yeah, because we still have projectile volume, and then we have guy like Ray Davis. I like Ray Davis. I think Ray Davis is a good RB2
Straight
behind
up.
Cooks. If anything having a James Cook as well, Ray Davis would be the man there. Hunter, and then the receivers Puka, AJ, Adams, Ted, Pickens, Demario, and then Elik Ao. Is it Ao Manor? Is that his name?
I think it's Aomanor, but I could be
Ao
totally botching that.
Elik Ao Manor. But receiver room, sexy as hell, So Tucker Craft, Henry, strong team.
I love it. We overcame our QB snipes, got some values, so made it work.
We did get sniped on Dak Prescott, but that did lead us to getting a falling Caleb and a Drake man.
No doubt.
Let's see. Whenever you finish drafts, do you name your teams?
I named BBMs,
Mm,
but that's about it because I really track those. Um, and then in the eliminator, as it gets farther, if I have a couple left, I'll like name those so I kind of know what to look out for.
yeah, I try to name like with the date just so like if I win, I can see just hey like this was like a team I drafted in like May or July whatever. But
True.
I always forget or I'm like get too lazy where it's like I'll have like 5 6 in a row I name and then it'll be like 4 or 5 in a row I didn't touch.
And then you don't want to go back. It's like such an annoying chore. I like name the stacks I have. I'll be like shy slash any slash like care or car.
Mhm.
And then I'll have like the initials for a couple of my top picks. That kind of helps me track it.
No, that's sharp. I'm okay. Here we go. All right. And I'm like basic line. What's today's date? The 13th.
13th.
Yes.
Yeah.
Friday the 13th. Happy Friday the 13th, guys.
Please have a happy one and not a sad one.
Happy one. That was that one. Yeah. I didn't even know it was Friday the 13th until I jumped on Twitter. Obviously, there was memes going around.
Have you managed to have good fortune for the most part today?
I would say so. Yeah, yeah. It's been a good day so far.
Nice.
Yeah.
Kept the car
So
accidents to a minimum. Step on a crack, break your mother's back type shit.
break your
Always want.
mother's back. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Someone out there right now stepping on the crack, breaking someone's mom's back. Sad world. So I'm gonna be doing another 20-second schnauzer. You're more than welcome to say if you want, or if you gotta go.
Let's run
Uh,
it. I'm down.
yeah, okay. One more schnauzer, guys. If anyone wants to do it, we need 9 more people. Let's fucking go. All right. Oh, Zero says win a limb. You know what? Let's see the rooms eliminator. I actually haven't done eliminator in a while.
I'd totally be down. Got some fun new picks to take round 18 now.
+9 for that too. See,
Chat, what are we feeling?
I'm down for whatever. If people want to do a limb, I'm definitely down doing a limb. Let me check 30 seconds. Yeah, I've slowed down a little bit on eliminators because I'm like at 56. So I was like,
Oh, wow.
don't want to get too crazy. So
Don't want to
7.
blow the total load. And it's so good to just save some bullets for the end when you can really feel confident you have 18 live players.
Yeah, because I think for sure I'm maxing out the eliminator, so that's why I want to save some for August. And then also I've been doing more marathons recently where I wasn't really into the marathon at all until they dropped that promo. And then I realized how soft the rooms are. And I'm like, you know what? Like, yeah, like this is plus EV. Let's get it.
Might as well hunt that EV, man. BBM is so cutthroat. I always get in them. I'm like, oh, I hope dude, I'm doing them at like 3 a.m. my time. I'm like, I'm going to get this EV. And it's like all these like other sharp drafters are doing them. I'm like, damn, I really got to start picking some of these other contests. The sprint, which is like basically like BBM, but like you're still live through the finals, even
Yeah.
with bad pod luck. There's shout out to Underdog for showing love with just so many great contests all the time.
Always, yeah. Shout out Underdog. They're amazing. And that's where I draft like 95% probably of my portfolio. It's on Underdog.
Yeah, bro. I don't have time to be logging into this app, that app, tracking on the other sites. And the user interface is so much better, bro. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Just for anyone who wants to draft or see, we are in the 20-second, 30-second eliminator. We will be just doing whichever one feels first. So if whichever one feels like we feel like is going to feel faster, we will be doing. So we are in the 20-second and the 30-second eliminator. And actually, let me shout this out. Actually,
put it out to the world.
let's
Let
put it
us
out to the world.
all eliminate each other. Hey, 6 of us can move on though. It's not bad.
No, no. That's why it's fun when you could do it like with your boys or like with other people because hey, like, you know, even though I'm a draft better than you, you still got a chance to advance. Right.
Bro, if we match up in a pod like week 5 even, like the stakes aren't even that high, bro, the shit talk is gonna be just unprecedented.
Oh,
And that's
dude.
saying something.
If I see Susedwards, like, oh, Susedwards, oh, hell yeah, let's fucking get it. Probably make a side bet, but hey, I'll bet you $50 I eliminate your ass.
Type shit.
I don't know which one this which one's this one? Can I check if it's 30-second or 20-second?
A little I next to the leave draft.
Oh, this thing. Wait, how do you check?
I think this is the 30-second.
It's 30-second. Okay. Let's get it, baby. The 30-second. The 30-second is feeling faster is crazy. Yeah, I'm a little surprised by that as well.
I guess these people need some time to think, We're pretty this feels like prime Nick Buck. Oh
Nick
yeah.
Bob, man. Yeah, man. So we're June 13th. Next month, we're basically just a few weeks away until I feel like that's when it gets serious. Like more of the normies start coming in. The news is pouring in as well. So
I think you're gonna have mad new users this year, with just like how much interest there is around Underdog that keeps growing. Like they keep growing their shows, their yes network. Like I don't know. I feel like Bestball just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and this year is gonna be just chock full of like no badges in August.
100%. Yeah. I think you're you hit the nail. You hit the spot on the nail. Whatever the fuck that says, but
I was hitting some shit and then it connected. And
you're yeah. You're it's a little whack-a-mole we got going on here. But real quick, hey, this is the 30-second, right, guys? All right, you guys in? Let's fucking go. Yeah. I can't believe it though, man. So we're basically because do you try when you're drafting as much as you draft, do you try to balance out all summer, or is it just like I'm just gonna draft and then whatever the number is a number?
Try is a funny word, right? Because you say you're gonna do 50 BBMs and then it's June 13 and you've done 82. So
82 BBMs, my guy.
So try. I mean, what is trying really at the end of the day? I am better about pacing myself on the eliminator because I really feel that I get an edge in August. I've done like maybe 20 of those. But BBM, I just lie to myself. I'm like, I have the answer to the test. I figured it out, man. Amari Cooper, he's going to retire. 30%.
What is your Amari Cooper exposure in BBM right now? Or what was the highest your Amari Cooper exposure was? And then what is it currently?
There was a minute where it was pacing at like 42%. We got it down to like 30 now. I still feel pretty good about it as just like I think he's going to sign somewhere and have a couple big spike weeks, maybe one when you need it. We'll see. Could go to crap, but last year we had 44% Mostert and 28% DJ Chark, so nothing can hurt us anymore.
No. And you know what? You always have the out where your hits matter more than the misses. So
100%.
yeah, even if Mark Woodward never signs, which will shock me if he doesn't, right? Like, come on, Steelers, like hit them up. But
this is the craziest like hope ever I'm about to hit you with, but he just bought like Nick Chubb this like crazy iced out like diamond Batman chain. I'm like, dude, like Amari Cooper's not buying his homies like iced out chains if he's retired. Like he knows he's got another bag coming. 1 year, 12 million, Pittsburgh, run it. Rodgers was talking him up. Let's do it.
It makes sense. I mean, the Steelers need a second receiver. Like, I don't think they're gonna roll with just Calvin Austin or Roman Wilson.
I am up to 82. Yeah. WTF? The numerology's hitting different.
So, are you maxing BBM?
Seems like it. It seems like we're tracking for that. I think I'm going to start doing some more sprints to maybe wean off the BBMs. But it's just so tempting to be like $2 million, in this damn economy. Who doesn't want to win $2 million? If you don't win $2 million, you're going to be eating bugs in a few years. So.
Yeah. So why not just gamble it all away? Try to hit that $2 million. Makes sense. I mean, I tell myself all the time, like, that's why I only advanced four out of 62 BBMs my first year playing. But at that time, I was like, yeah, this shit's easy. Like, I'm probably gonna win BBM. Yeah. I'm partnering up with Underdog. I'll, fucking everyone's gonna ask me how I did it. And come playoff time, you really get humbled with, okay, like, yeah, I was really terrible this year.
Yeah, no, and then of course, like the one team that like has your best odds in the playoffs, like it's like a CMC team, like a 2024 CMC team. Like I put up like 160 something in week 15, and it was a CMC team, and it missed by 0.02 going into next week. Would have been dead either way, but it's like, oh, of course, like the team that literally any other first round pick would have helped. Yeah. But
with the CMC, yeah,
so much can go wrong. So much of it's pod luck. Which is why I'm trying to improve, not really even just my advance rate, but just live players. I've shifted my philosophy from like trying to hit the crazy nuts in week or in round 18 to like having enough bodies that can get through my stars. Because sometimes having the low owned star like is more important than chasing a Kyron Williams that might not exist. Like last year, you wanted to get like Puka teams through. You wanted your Nico Collins teams through, It's hard to get those low-owned stars through, but if you can, that's like the most important leverage.
Like a good example would be Kareem Hunt last year, right? Which it's hard to project Kareem Hunt because IJ Pacheco did get hurt, but even dusty old guys could help you win. Adam Thielen, prime example, last year was going, I think in the 140s, 50s, 30s, I don't remember, but he was on the winning BBM team, right? Week 17. He 100%. He balled out. So I've tried to shift where I think the first year and last year I try to always hit upside. I try to always target rookies, the nuts, right? Where I think it's more important with how you structure teams, right? Like last year you could have done with Neighbors, but hey, I'm getting Neighbors in the third round. This dude's going to be a receiver one, and then you could kind of backload it with a little more safety, like Adam Thielen. I don't know. I guess guys like Darius Slayton, MVS is another one that I think I can see where he's just the obvious deep threat. Sam Darnold was good at throwing the deep ball.
And like last year, the most important guy, arguably in the fantasy playoffs, was you have Jonathan Taylor, you have T. Higgins. Those guys missed games, and so you wanted to just get them there. Like they miss a month or they miss a few weeks. You just want to get your stars there and say, hey, maybe I luck out in this pod and that pod, and next thing you know, you're in the finals. Have more teams there so your stars can do the work. It's just, once every few years where you get like a Puka, Brian Thomas, you just just get your different combinations of stars there, because realistically, the stars are going to be the ones that are cooking. Like there
Yeah,
probably is not a guy who's going to put up 25 a week after pick 215 right now.
no, I forgot the podcast, but they were saying that taking rookies obviously is important. You got to balance it when you're doing like best ball, but the rookies that hit more often, obviously, like it's more important to take rookies early on than later on. As
Right.
in, like Ted, one reason Ted McMillan's right. He goes in the fourth round. He's a rookie. Obviously, we don't know if he's good. We don't know about the Panthers, but if he hit his ceiling, he's going to give you where Tech could be a first rounder next year.
Right.
Right. He could be a first rounder or maybe, early second rounder potentially. And if he hits, like that's going to help you advance a ton rather than just trying to backload rookies that more likely are not going to hit.
And we're going to like find out about the rookies in like July and August. Like I can still pack those bags then. And people will say like, "Oh, Puka was like hard to predict." It's like I don't know, man. They didn't have like coach speak index at that point, but like if you were like really grinding the Twitter stuff, they were glazing Puka. Like I ended up with
Yeah.
like a little bit of a Puka bag. Of course, it didn't help me, but
Yeah.
I had like 5 or 6% Puka despite like maxing, by early July, of course. I was taking him in like May and June and shit because they're like, I don't know, man, this guy is big, he's fast, and he can do this and that. And we're gonna get even more reports like that in like July and August. So I'll wait and like, okay, if I like, see some crazy news on like Torrey Horton, who I kind of like, it's like I'll do that then. But until then, I don't need to take that chance because he's probably not gonna be that. And let me just grab Darius Slayton and his boring 700 yards so that I can get my JTs through and my Saquons through. I think that just having more teams there and structuring it with boring guys who can spike, because there are boring guys who can spike. Like Darius Slayton can spike, Alec Pierce can spike. So
Can spike, yeah.
last year
No,
Marvin Mims,
Marvin Mims, yeah, good 18 round play. And I think it's like the archetype where like I want guys who are deep threats that have a role on the offense rather than like I think Pat Bryant could be a great pick. I think maybe he's just the best receiver behind Corner Sutherland, but there's something you said where it's like Alec Pierce, like he could spike in your lineup 3 times, but he pays off with those 3 spikes because they're huge touchdowns, obviously. So it's a lot of game theory. It's interesting, like Wicks, MVS.
right?
He says deep threats or yak monsters. Yeah, you want big play guys. You want guys that, like you're not trying to target, someone that's going to go like for me, Wanda Robinson. Like I just won't draft Wandell. I'm not a fan. I just don't think he's going to do anything for my lineup. I'd rather have Slayton than Wanda straight up. If I'm being honest with you.
100%. I have 0% Wandale in the non-eliminator contest. Eliminator, you can tempt me into it because you can just sometimes you need those 10 points. But
Yeah,
yeah, in like a rate in like a BBM, like what is Wandale Robinson, especially with Russell Wilson, ever gonna do for me?
yeah,
Nothing.
nothing, man. It just that's where it's like points. Like you don't want to look at just like how much points a guy scores, but you want to look at how they score them, right? Which I guess you could say too with like Demario Douglas, like maybe he's like a Wando, but I think he has more big playability than that on offense, and I also think he also goes cheaper than Wando as
Pop's a
well.
little more explosive. He also lines up well with the Josh McDaniels offense, where it's like Julian Edelman was like a productive receiver even in half point, and like you could easily see Pop Douglas being like the Julian Edelman of this offense. Whereas like
Yeah,
Wandale
yeah,
Robinson, it like his quarterback's 5'8", he's 5'6". They can't see each other over the offensive line. Like Russ is never going to hit Wandale Robinson.
no, I mean we say that, and then week one obviously is going to be Wanda Robinson having a 2 touchdown game,
Yeah,
right?
10 catches for 17 yards, the classic Wandale game.
No, I just looked up. I'm looking up Demario Douglas right now. Let me see if I pull it up actually. But runs a 4.44. Burst score is 95th percentile.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can pull it up real quick.
He's also not competing with Malik Neighbors, which is nice.
Yeah, Malik Neighbors the target hog. That's for sure. Stop this real quick. Sure. No. This. Stuff. Oh, okay. All right, here we go, guys. I'm bringing up player profile, which it's always a fun. Do you use player profile a lot?
Yeah, I definitely used to use it more, but I still use it from time to time. Shout out Matt Kelly. When I really started getting into fantasy football, like 2016, that's when I like started going really into it. This is
Same,
like
yeah.
perfect resource.
Yeah, the player when I was in Dynasty like super heavy, this was I would come on here like every day, just like checking different player charts and all that good stuff.
No
But
doubt.
yeah, Demiro's an interesting player. Last year, he was fourth in slot snap, so he's obviously going to be the slot receiver there, which I think adding competition, if it's not a terrible bad thing because it could open up the offense a little more for him. Yards after catch, number 23. I mean, there's not much to say about him being an explosive receiver, which he wasn't he's not a deep threat, but
Number 23 is not bad though, and his burst score 95th percentile. You compare that to Wandale 34th percentile. Like you're definitely going to get more yak with Pop Douglas than Wandale for sure.
yeah, maybe he gets easier coverage. Maybe because he is an athlete a little bit, right? Like runs a 4.4, burst
Yeah.
score is really good. So I have this vision in my head that I'm gonna see some couple long bombs thrown in.
And he strikes me even more as like Drake. Like the offense is just schemed better. They're sustaining more drives. There's more passes being thrown, and he's a guy who can catch that 12-yard slant and house it. Like
A
he
hundred,
he has that in his bag.
100%, 100%, man. So we did fill the eliminator 30-second guys. We have fuck coolers with the 1.1, and then we pull the 1.3. I see zero with the 1.9 over here.
Nice.
Nice.
Couple
Lo-
friends, couple family.
I love getting early picks. So for me, 1.3, it's Bijan or Gibbs here. Barkley, I'm cool with 2, but I won't lie, I'm a little scared of the mana curse, a little scared of the workload, but
Hey, the Madden curse, I was about ready to wave that off. I was like, dude, come on, Madden curse, that's such an old thing. Like, who was on Madden's cover last year anyway? It was probably, like what, Josh Allen or something? It was Christian McCaffrey. I was like,
yeah,
oh shit. Oh, we're fucked.
we're fucked.
Um,
Gibbs or
I'm
Barkley, man.
I'm a Barkley guy.
All right, so
I'm
Barkley
a
over Gibbs.
2,300 yards guy. Yeah.
I mean, makes in this format, it definitely makes more sense. I think Barkley over Gibbs, right? Like his workload is going to be so heavy, and even if Barkley, let's say, he shuts down by like week 8 or 9, like you know what? Thanks, pal. You got us that far. We're in the cash.
And the Eagles lost their offensive coordinator too, but I'm not as worried about it. They still have a great offensive line. They lose Mekhi Becton, but he was kind of just like a 1-year guy anyway. The core of the Eagles' offensive line, there's a reason it's still graded number 1.
For sure, yeah.
He's just such a safe pick. As long as he doesn't get hurt.
Yeah. Zero says Josh Allen, Tom Brady, only guys to beat manicures.
They might have to just start putting quarterbacks on the cover of Madden. I don't know.
I think quarterbacks are safe in manicures, but like every other position player is like, yeah, this guy's probably fucked.
Yeah, it's a tough scene.
Dude, shout out Peyton Hillis. Peyton Hillis, goated season. Came out of nowhere, was like the RB4 overall. Put it on the Madden cover and was never hurt again.
Except for the time he almost died in the pool or like the ocean saving his nephew. That probably hurt him a little bit, but he's a goat for that, man. He's like a real hero, like real shit.
Dude, I totally forgot about that. I think he was in the ocean for like maybe I'm wrong, but like wasn't it for like 24 hours or something? Or that was maybe someone else, but he was in the ocean for a long time or
basically like his nephew was drowning and he went in and saved him, and then he almost drowned himself, and I think he's like recovered and everything, but it was like he almost lost his life. He's like a legitimate hero. So shout out
yeah.
Peyton.
2023, he saved his kid from drowning. He did collapse once he got on shore, but he had lung and kidney failure. But he is good. Shout out Pena Hillis. You gotta save the kids, man. What the fuck is going on? Fancy Football Garage.
WTF.
He's on vacation. He's having a good time. He's probably a little tipsy right now. I saw him pop some beers in the stream. Shout out Fantasy Football Garage. Hope your vacation goes well. Stay cool, my friend.
Stay safe around bodies of water.
Yeah. Don't get too drunk and go in the water, my guy. Which I think he's safe. I think he's out there in Texas, so I don't know if there's any.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there's any water probably around it. What the fuck? Yeah, that was crazy. So we are in a eliminator. 30 seconds. Zero. This is a pretty nice start. CMC to A Chain feels like it could work out pretty well for him.
Yeah, it's a really good foundation to build off of. You can kind of do whatever you want for a few rounds after that.
Yeah. So when you're doing eliminators and you have, let's say you have Barkley like we do, let's say Taylor goes. Are you doing Lad, Bucky? Chase is up a little bit, surprisingly.
But I'm probably not Bucky just because of the week 9 buys. I can't do the top 2 players at the same position, same bye week. For me, I'm Chase Brown here. I'm getting really
over Lad.
Yeah, just because running backs fly, and he could have a crazy workload. He also sets a really good floor with the receiving.
I'm gonna say, would you rather do? We could do Chase because I think Rice could fall to us. But I was gonna say, would you do Lad and Brees Hall or Chase and Rice? Who do you like more?
I think Chase Brown's receiving floor makes him so nice for the eliminator, where he's kind of like the poor man's Gibbs. I'm not saying he's anything like the talent of Jahmyr Gibbs, but he's just going to be catching so many passes that he sets that nice floor. Whereas like a Derrick Henry is so boom bust with the touchdowns. Chase Brown, you're always going to get like at least 10 points, you know?
Yeah, I know people love Taj Brooks. I do like Taj Brooks, but Chase Brown, I think the likely scenario is he's probably just going to be the workhorse for one of the best offenses. Right.
And I don't mind paying the premium. And I have way more Chase Brown in the eliminator just because, maybe he like loses some carries in BBM, sure, whatever, but in the eliminator, like every week he's going to be keeping you afloat. He's never going to bust, like in terms of the floor, like some other guys could.
No, I think that's a fair point. So we do have Barkley, Chase. Coming up, Rice, Higgins, Garrett, probably. I'm okay with the lead quarterback too if you want to go that route, but I do wait usually.
I probably would not be another Bengal here just to kind of maybe lock up a little more weekly variance. I like Rice. I would also be fine with Garrett Wilson. But Rice, I think, is just going to get fed crazy volume.
Yeah, Rice was going like at the 3-4 turn in this contest. He's moving up a little more lately. Rashid Rice, me in my books, he's a 2nd round pick. So I love Rashid Rice. He says, I got you, FK. I am in Central Texas Hill country, but there is a river.
Have fun, man. Have a good time.
Yeah. Have a great time, man. You enjoy the vacation. You're always streaming, working hard, man. If anyone, I was watching this stream earlier, Fantasy Football Garage. Go check it out. He was doing some schnauzers.
I love how you just click through the thought you were just like, okay, bring that up. Next question. Never talk about Zach Moss again. It's obviously not going to happen.
Dude, wasn't there a co-speak of negative Zach Moss news? Or
he's cooked.
He's cooked, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they were like, P. Ryan's like they talked about P. Ryan next after Chase Brown. They glazed the heck out of Chase Brown. Then they're like, P. Ryan's like a great pro. He does everything you could ask for. They're like, Taj Brooks, he's doing some rookie things. Yeah, but it had like more of a positive tone. Like, and then it was like, and Zach Moss, I guess we'll see what he can do. It's like, that's not good. Like, you should know what he could do, but you don't know what he can do because he like broke his neck basically, and he's probably going to retire.
See, in my mind, I feel like Chase Brown, even though he might not be a great RB, I think he's kind of like Kyron Williams last year, where we're just trying to find excuses to make why Chase Brown's not going to work. Where, dude, Bengals didn't draft no one. like they didn't like. Yeah, sure they drafted Brooks, but like that's not a serious that like what was he, a seventh round pick, sixth round pick, right?
Yeah, sixth.
Like Charles Brooks has like a 90+% chance of not working out. And I don't know. I think Chase Brown, after the draft, I was clicking him a lot. Then I kind of just got bored because I was clicking him so much. I think I'm gonna start clicking him more, man. Third round, RB1 for the Bengals. Like come on, baby. Like
Yeah, the
I,
offense is so good. Now, the problem is their offensive line is so bad, and his advanced rushing stuff is low key, like Rashad White level. Now, I will say, no coach is going to like how Rashad White runs the football because he's so tentative and doesn't hit the hole hard. Chase Brown hits the hole hard, and he did show a lot of improvement from year one to year two, whereas like Rashad was more flat. I kind of have to throw out what I think of Chase Brown. I have to go off of what the coaches think of Chase Brown. They
yeah,
really like him. Joe Burrow really likes him. He improved in pass protection. He's just going to get a ton of targets. I do think Taj Brooks will eventually eat in to the rushing load. I mean, you look at the Vegas lines for week one, Chase Brown's only at 45 rushing yards. That's fine. You don't need him to be like CMC because you're not paying you don't need him to be Bijan. You're not paying a Bijan price. So
no, I think you could project Chase Brown real quick. We're on the
I
clock.
would be Chuba here.
Chuba here, get our third RB.
Yeah.
Different by week, RB3. I like that. Let's do it. The receivers I like later too, but I think Chase Brown, like I'm cool with the line 45 or whatever. Like it's low, but like he's more projecting like an Alvin Kamara type, just on a better offense, right? Where
Yeah.
Chase Brown probably gonna catch 60+ balls, right? He's still gonna you know, like he's also a threat to score long touchdowns. Like he's a fast RB. He's an explosive playmaker, right?
It's like
Or
the
no,
A-Chan bet, right? A lot of
yeah,
pass
right, yeah,
catching, some explosive plays. Maybe not the best pure rusher ever, but pass volume, enough carries, scoring points, touchdowns. So,
yeah. So like fantasy football garage says, I did move Chase Brown back up to the 2-3 turn in my ranks. A lot of good code speak lately.
yeah.
I think that's right. I think Chase Brown should be a 2-3 turn, right? Like him and Bucky, I don't think is too different. And if anything, Bucky has to do with Rashad White, which is probably gonna be more of a factor.
Yeah, for me, okay. So, just receiver wise here,
Um,
Sutton has a very good
I'm cool with
weekly.
Zion. Joe
I would,
Mixon fell a little bit, but man, I
I'd
think
probably be
there's
Sutton. He was second in the league in air yards last year. He's got Bo
yeah,
Nix just improving. He's just such a he has underrated upside. If they connect on a couple more of those deep balls, he having a hell of a season.
he's definitely a eliminator ass pick, but
Right.
even going later than he does in like a BBM.
Right.
So I like it. Yeah, and you know what? Week 17 don't matter, but we do got some correlation, guys. We got
Low
some
key.
Rashid Rice and Sutton. Week 17 correlation to win $100,000.
And I do love Joe Mixon there, but we got our three running backs with Barkley. Feel pretty good about that. So
Yeah. Zero X, what's the difference between Bucky and him exactly? Well, I think Bucky's like a better RB in general, like definitely on the ground. But when you're looking at the situation, Buckley's Buckley is probably gonna just have more competition with Rashad White, right? And he is a smaller back than Chase Brown as well. So you could argue maybe Chase Brown's more suited to handle a bigger role. Um, I don't know. I think Chase Brown and Bucky probably should be similar in rankings.
yeah, my
Yeah.
main
Skill set.
difference is Bucky's like a top five between the tackles rusher in the league, elite vision, elite agility. Chase Brown's kind of just like running straight forward into a wall and he has like no vision. And then the Bucks have maybe a top five offensive line, and the Bengals have PFF's dead worst offensive line heading into this year. That's not good.
Mm,
So I think you're going to get more rushing efficiency with Bucky. But Chase Brown's going to be more alive for more touches per game, like you said, with the touch competition. And the Bengals offense is still going to put up crazy points. So I think
yeah.
they're both fine picks. I'm just going to break the tie to Bucky, who I know is definitely elite. And I know he's definitely not going anywhere. Whereas Chase Brown could lose some touches, but it's like I'll have Bucky ranked. I mean, I've got Bucky ranked like borderline top 15, but For the sake of, having even exposures, I'd say I'd have like Bucky like 2021, Chase Brown like right behind Josh Jacobs, like 26 type deal.
No, I'm cool with that. I love Bucky as a player. Bucky, I think, is super talented. And when you're watching his film, it's like, man, this dude just makes everybody miss.
Right.
But there's just something that's like side of me that kind of is like pushing me away a little bit. I don't know what it is. Like, I think Bucky can smash. I just think maybe more it's like fourth round pick. Rashard White's going to play. Can Bucky just be the workhorse all year?
I will say by the end, Rachaad White was not playing much. He started having some 2-touch games, 3-touch games. It was getting scary hours for my guy Rashad. And I was like the biggest Rashad Glazer Bucky bear. I've done a full 180.
You've done a full 180 yet. So next pick, I think Chris Olave is probably the pick here.
Yeah.
I just think he fits eliminator as pick. Going to be receiver 2 all year.
And it's a week 11 bye. It's a unique bye. So, we'll have a couple maybe wide receiver coming up with a week 9 bye. So I think it layers well.
Yeah, coming on the turn. So we do have a 3-3. I feel really strong about RBs, different bye weeks. Receiver, we're getting there.
I would not hate Tony Pollard. Okay, go.
Yeah. That's a great pick by Fuck Coolers. Tony Pollard there, 73. I've pulled him up in the early 6th round sometimes when I feel like I need an RB. So that's good value. I am not doing Fat Debo.
Okay.
Fuck no.
What about Jacoby Myers, locked in, receiver 1?
Him or Golden, I'm cool with.
Let's do we don't have any week 8 buys yet. They're saying Jacoby's he's like the unquestioned wide receiver 1 there, and we don't have to worry about maybe missing a week or 2 with Godwin, which I'm not too worried about. But like if I have to break a tie, if Godwin missed week 1, that would be a little stinky.
The thing with Jacoby too a little bit is I think he's just a good football player that if he does what he's done the last few years, I think he's paying off his ADP.
Yeah.
And Geno Smith's an upgrade. He's targeted the slot a lot, which I think Myers is going to probably play a lot of. So I'm definitely trying to get a little more Jacoby. I don't love him because obviously I think like the receiver, like he's not sexy. He's not a sexy guy.
No.
But Jacoby is a guy where he's getting a quarterback upgrade and maybe he's just a really good receiver.
Eliminator ass pick.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, fantasy football, Ross says, Sus has good points. The efficient guy versus the volume score independent guy. Yeah. No, it is true though with Chase and Bucky. Me and Sus switching brands is the same.
I'm just buying high, the classic buy. Yeah, just sell at the bottom and buy high.
Wait, time about did Lovely go 77? Hold up.
Let him cook.
No, what?
That's egregious work.
So this has to be the star method. Has to be.
That is a cursed star method. You got 2 wide receivers, same buy. You got 2 running backs, same buy. The man's going through it,
He's trying to work on the double right with Tyreek Hill Waddle. He takes Genty at 5 because he's like, obviously, RB goes earlier. I love Genty.
Mm-hmm.
He does go Daniels at 28 though.
Nah, this man,
Laporta at 44. Yeah, no, I don't know what he's doing actually.
We might need to bump this man back down to a badge list tier. I've seen enough. I revoke his badge.
Okay, guys. You know what? That just means more players fall to us.
Yeah. A little bit of value to scoop.
Zero says he thought it was weekly winners.
Yeah, real shit.
That's funny. So I think coming up, we're in 5 picks. Diggs, I think would be nice if he falls. Patrick Mahomes, I would like to stack with Rashid Rice, Josh Downs, I'm cool with.
I also don't hate like Bo Nix eventually. Where's his price at? He seems a little cheap.
He's 97 right now, so we could even double tap quarterback at his turn if we feel like there's a flat tier with the
because quarterbacks low key rip off the board by like the 130s, 140s. Like Geno goes earlier in this, like Tua goes 10 picks earlier in this. You see like all those guys that go in like the 150s, 160s, go in like the 140s.
For sure, yeah. Quarterbacks do go up earlier, and we even see it here where this guy ripped two quarterbacks kind of earlier
Yeah.
at the 12th spot, 10 picks ahead. So Mahomes does go, which is fine. Let's see what these guys have.
Diggs would be sweet.
Diggs at 94. So let's come on. You have five receivers. You don't need Diggs.
Piece
You
of
go
sh-
Diggs.
Um,
Could do
how do you feel about
Knicks.
Michael Pittman and then pushing one of the quarterbacks to the next pick? I'd also be fine with like Baker Knicks. Just I don't really care as much about stacking, but Pittman feels like a really good volume bet right now.
Yeah, I think Pittman's a better click now that Daniel Jones is probably the quarterback to start the year.
Yeah.
Um, feels pretty solid as a receiver five. Bo Nix, we will get back. I'm pretty sure as well if we want to take him.
Yeah, and if we didn't, we got Baker. It's like whatever,
Which yeah, like I don't mind too much stacking Baker.
Yeah, it's all good. Bo Nix would be fun though.
But I haven't been really taking too much Bo Nix, not because I hate him, it's just because I don't really take too much Denver.
Hmm.
So, I am someone that like, if I don't take Sutton, it's like I'm not really looking at Knicks there,
Yeah, it's
right?
kind of a gross back stack because there's so many rotational receivers, potentially.
Talk about gross, some gross backstacks. Your boy being I've been taking some Vele,
Oh yeah.
can't lie. I think Troy for Franklin. Okay, let me ask you this: if Adion Mitchell, who I'll give you maybe was a great separator his rookie year, but if Adion Mitchell is getting drafted, shouldn't Troy Franklin get drafted with a shower narrative?
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're comparable bets, maybe not in terms of pure talent, but in terms of their odds of hitting the field this year. I mean, like the Colts have three dogs, like locked in like crazy work at like Alec Pierce has crazy work ethic, and he's
Yeah,
like their best vertical. I know AD Mitchell is like a crazy separator and all this, but like Alec Pierce is like the size. He has really good size, and he has like phenomenal ball tracking skills. He also has no effort questions, where it's like AD Mitchell. It's like, are you gonna get the effort? Like he just seems like a part-time ass player who's like gonna give you great effort when he's out there for like 40% of snaps. But it really feels like it's a Pittman Downs Pierce team where AD Mitchell will get mixed into, but
yeah,
I think Troy Franklin is as live for Spike Weeks as AD Mitchell is.
yeah. I mean, Alec Pierce had a really good year last year. I don't think AD Mitchell is gonna take him over. It just to me it doesn't make sense. Um,
And they love Pierce in Indy. So
yeah. So Zero does say, did you guys see the news that A Rich second opinion found he doesn't need surgery and he's ready for competition? Well, I didn't know that, but I did assume that it wasn't that serious when I saw him like kind of in practice. I don't know. I'm going with Daniels as part of the quarterback. Maybe I'm biased because I just think he's a better quarterback. But how are you playing the Colts situation? Yo, what's up, JT Bestball?
yo
Bro,
JT.
yo, what's up, JT? How you doing, man? Hope your Friday night's going well. Hope you're doing good. Happy the Friday the 13th. But yeah, how are you approaching the Colts quarterback situation right now?
Well, what I'll say on that note about the shoulder and not needing surgery, you know who else had a sore shoulder that didn't, people were talking about and they were resting their shoulder last year, going in about the A Rich price range. Deshaun Watson last year was resting his shoulder
Oh,
over the
okay.
summer and it was sore. It's like, oh, well, don't worry. Deshaun Watson's going to be fine. It's like, bruh, I'm just
Yeah.
over these guys who can't play football, who complete 47% of their passes and have a shoulder injury 6 months since the last time they were tackled. I'm not taking Anthony Richardson. The Colts, every passing day, they are falling further and further out of love with that guy. So
Yeah.
I I think Daniel Jones is the 17 game starter. That's how I'm treating it.
That's how I'm treating it too. I just think Jones is gonna be the better quarterback. Zero says Deshaun Amari stack last year was probably the worst stack ever made.
Cursed stack.
Probably curse stack, man. Shout out Deshaun, all the massages. Second, what he tore his Achilles twice.
Yeah, he tore the Achilles and then retore it. So tough
Hey,
scene.
Hey, if God's real, that's probably God's doing His work for all the Deshaun fans, football owners. All
Uh,
right,
yeah.
so we're on the
Um,
clock. Stevenson, I like here in this format. I'm cool with taking a shot at Higgins as well, quarterback.
I'd be
We
down for
yeah, what were you saying?
you want to grab Dak or Goff and then just grab some other town on the way back, just because these quarterbacks are gonna rip.
Uh,
We can see what comes back. Let's go, Ramondre.
yeah. I kind of froze. Okay, so
Because we can't do like Daniel Jones on an eliminator. I just made this whole thing about Daniel Jones. It's like
because
on an eliminator team.
we're gonna get one of these quarterbacks, so that's
Exactly.
why
Yeah, that's a good call.
Stevenson is an RB that I think is really good in this format too. Because if he does just kind of come out as getting more carries than Henderson, and I think he's gonna have a role all year. I don't think Henderson's the back that's gonna take over exactly the RB room. So I think he's a good value here at where
Yeah,
he
he gets
goes.
disrespected a little too much.
Yeah. Like I think I don't. I think Stevenson might or should maybe go ahead of Najee just because Hampton's a bigger threat than Henderson. I mean, look, Harris obviously good, better offense and does have Greg Roman, but I don't know. I think Stevenson is undervalued.
No, no doubt about it. He's just a good football player, and Ramondre last year really had to deal with I'd be Goff here.
I like Goff because Goff is a quarterback that you like. Obviously, you want to stack quarterbacks, but he is one that spreads it out, so
Right.
it's not gonna kill us, right? Like,
I'm never taking him naked in BBM, but like this is the eliminator. He had
yeah,
330 points last year, man. He's just going to be hitting your lineup with 22s, 24s. And in a 1v1 scenario, like what are the odds you're facing a bunch of Lions each week? Pretty low. So,
no, that's facts. Us. JT says, I hear you, sus. Watson at least has been good at one point.
right.
I took AR a few times before the shoulder stuff, but zero from this point
Same.
on.
Same. I had a couple shares
Yeah.
pre, but
Yeah, I've taken some sus as well. I mean some sus as well. I think
sharp.
some yeah. I'm sharp, man. I took some A Rich as well, but since the news, I'm just out on him at this point.
Egregious work, really. Like,
On
that
Friday the
is
13th is crazy, Zero. What the fuck? I finally caught a Nick Boss stream. What's up, 30p? How you doing, man?
good
Happy
man.
Friday the 13th. I hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are drafting. Just having a good time. Cheers to anyone in this lobby. If you guys if you guys are here watching, go hit that like button. Sub up if you're not sub. We are reaching 500 subs. And once I hit that, gonna be doing a 12-hour live stream, guys, and giving away 12 BBMs. So stay tuned for that.
You want to hear an egregious story that I learned this past week, a week ago today?
Of course.
This woman that I'm talking to went to high school with Deshaun Watson when he was at that high school. So same, different by like a
Mm,
year or whatever. And I was like, oh, like what was his reputation? Because at Clemson, he had like this reputation of being like, the good guy and all this stuff. He was not a good guy, allegedly, in high school.
no. Oh,
And
interesting.
apparently, he and his girlfriend started dating after he and his guys uh, had a multiple person encounter. I know this is a kid friendly program, but like
They had an orgy, you're saying here, my
yeah, and
guy.
then Deshaun Watson started dating the girl after, allegedly. So,
Allegedly.
and that's like one of the better stories. He was apparently not a good dude. So I don't know, any goodwill I could have had for Deshaun, not that I really had any, but it's like, all right, he's been really on demon time for a minute.
Well, I mean, obviously looking back now with all the news and the legal stuff, it makes sense. I mean, it seemed like Deshaun was a good guy, right? Like when he was with the Texans,
Right.
Christian guy, faith, and whatnot. But
He was
no,
getting brand deals. He was like
yeah,
the clean, squeaky. Yeah.
he's queen,
But
clean, squeaky guy, but turned out to be probably the biggest dog in the NFL.
100%.
Boogie says spread sus out for his bad takes and Miles being explosive. What
I'm
is
spread
going
you
on
out,
here?
Boogie.
What's up, Kevin? How you doing? Welcome in, baby. Friday the 13th. Let's get it. Um, did you ask the girl you're talking to if she ever gave Deshaun a massage?
Well, I guess maybe I assume she would have told me that if that was the case, but my understanding is that they had no history. You
No
know,
answer. Okay.
managed to.
I'll
Uh,
say, man, Deshaun probably got a lot of massages in high school as well.
I'm afraid
Um,
to ask now.
my chains, your perception of her. But real quick, Luther, Kirk, or Kraft? Who we going here, baby?
Let's do craft.
Let's go Kraft. Bring Kraft up. I like that, man. We do have some fallers in Bird and Kirk, but I think Kraft, he's a faller too. Great tight end pick. Let's go.
W.
W. So we have two quarterbacks, real quick. I wouldn't mind even taking a Cam Ward here just to be done at three quarterback. Gino goes.
Hmm.
Wow, he did go. He went earlier.
They fly,
Interesting.
man. They fly.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Do
How do you feel about Tank?
I'm not the biggest tank guy, but I do see where he could hit fifth RB, fine with.
We could do
And
Cam Ward if you want to do that. And
no, we'll take down Jones on the way back. Let's do tank.
okay.
Yeah, I don't have much tank, so like I do want to mix him in a little bit just in case he is maybe the Chuba Hubba. Maybe he's the guy you need from the Jacksonville backfield.
90th percentile, broken tackle, evaded tackle, whatever you want to call it, rate, pretty
Yeah.
good at that specific thing. Yeah, blessing people is crazy.
Now, were you saying Miles was explosive earlier? If so, I missed that.
I said he had more juice than Javante. I said he had juice. Now, Jaden Blue, peak juice. Miles Sanders, juice here. Javante, you can't see my hand, but it's below the screen, not above it. Javante has no juice, negative juice, out of juice.
Negative. Yeah, yeah. He was with Javante was with the best offensive line run blocking rating whatever last year and couldn't do shit. So yeah.
So
I know
surely he'll figure it out on an average group with worse play calling.
it's so funny, or like to me it's obvious. Like if I'm taking a Cowboy, I'll just take the cheapest option right now.
Yeah. I Jaden Blue's kind of fun as just like what if they, just say screw it and put the fast guy in for a bit. I don't think he'd be a full-time guy, and then Miles Sanders, he lost his job to Chuba Hubbard, who we all agree now is a good football player. And so there's no shame in losing your job to Chuba. And it is what it is. But you know who's not as good as Chuba? Not even like stratosphere? Javante Williams.
No, Javante, bro. If Javante Williams kills me, bro, I'll take it, bro. I don't care. I'm not clicking him in the one. Like he goes in the hundreds. He goes like 108, 110. I'm not clicking Javante, guys.
No.
I don't care. I'm not doing it. He is this year's Zeke.
Yep.
Miles Sanders is this year's
Kareem Hunt.
Sharp take. Zero says this year's Kyron. For my hey.
Let him cook.
Hey, I'll take it. I've been taking Sanders, so we are drafting a team. We have a 2-5-5-1. RB room feels good. I think we can stop here if we want to.
Yeah.
Right. I think this will probably be a three quarterback. Probably a 3-5-8-2 build.
100%.
We could do 6 RBs, but I think we're probably good with what we have now. I don't care that Chuba Stevens at week 14 buys, like with the eliminator.
No.
I always say, like, if I make it to week 10, 11, like, I'm super happy.
Yeah, week 14 is crazy. Like, if Saquon and Chase Brown are healthy, that's kind of all you need at that point. Because so many teams, like, by week 14 are going to be hurt and dead. Like, even if it's a super team, you have one bad injury at the wrong time, you're done.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's hard to...
Cam Ward would be like a giga smash.
Oh, that's tough. That's hard. I do think Rogers, Daniels. I think we just take one, man. Who do you like here between the two?
I think we can push it past because Coolers is not going to take a fourth. If there's like a player you really like here, like Alec Pierce.
There's not though. Like that's.
We
Douglas.
could do Edgar or Alec Pierce or Pop Douglas.
Let's go. This is what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, 3.672.
Yeah, 3.672. I think Eckler 16 picks past ADP. He gets back in your lineup. He was efficient last year. I think he's a good pick here.
Yeah.
I'll just
We'll
say.
let Zero have Miles Sanders, type shit.
Yeah. Miles Sanders sucks, bro. I'm not taking that guy. Fuck him.
Right, he's got no juice. We all know that.
Oh,
We
shout out Zero. We're cooking. Yes, we are cooking.
Yeah,
I love
appreciate it,
this
bro.
team so far.
I think, damn, this is really tough because Daniel Jones has more upside. Like
And we do
weekly,
have Pittman, so there is correlation built in. Rogers obviously is safer because
the security. And who
I
are our
think
two quarterbacks again? I might just be Rogers just because
me
I think
too,
Knicks and
yeah.
Goff have enough upside, and if we just kind of want security.
Let's take for sure the starting quarterback for the Steelers. It just makes sense. It just makes more sense, right? Like I think Down Jones is the quarterback, but why take the risk when you could take a guaranteed starting quarterback who probably, might get sniped from us? Yeah. So
Daniel Jones was always the click.
I love Daniel Jones. He was the guy, no matter what.
Never wanted Rodgers.
No, Rogers sucks. Gonna tear his Achilles again. All right. You zig and we zag. Yeah.
In this scenario, in this simulation, in this eliminator draft, for sure.
In our scenario where we don't get him, 100% he's gonna be getting bench for Will Howard.
No doubt about it.
3 more picks. Feeling decent. So we're done at quarterback. RB, we're done. So we could stop at 2 tight ends too. I'm cool with that. Yeah.
I've about to queue up, once we make it past some of these other guys, my favorite 2 tight end. Zero's probably going to take them, so we'll see. Dalton Schultz, just infinite upside,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it would be a real shame if Zero took Dalton Schultz from us here. I would crash out in a very entertaining fashion. That's obviously who I'm talking about.
Dalton Schultz. Number 2 receiving option for CJ Stroud. Please don't take him. Oh, he takes Zach Ertz. I don't know.
But Dalton Schultz, you saw 4 years ago, he had 800 yards. He could get that back. Bobby Slowick gets fired. Nico Collins. Yeah, I mean, he's not even a real alpha when you really think about it. So Dalton Schultz, I'm saying any day now. Zero, if you're listening.
I'm a Zero says Schultz is a Zach Ferguson pick. Hey, so he's Zach Ferguson, but 40 picks cheap, you're saying?
So he's a screaming value is what I'm hearing.
Hey, I sent you the player in private chat. Let me just kind of like say yes or no if that's who it is.
That is correct.
Okay. I don't think Zero's gonna take him because I don't think Zero's as sharp. So
that's a shot across the bow.
We'll see right now.
Now he might do it out of spite. Theo Johnson.
Ooh, Johnson. You got the Johnson, right?
I do like Johnson. Pause, but that was not the guy I had on my mind.
Yeah, I do like Johnson a lot. He's probably like top 5 or 6 in tight end exposures. The tight end that you're talking about, we could talk about Mason Taylor.
Yep.
I think I probably have like 10-11% of him where he makes sense as someone to take a bet on, right? Number 2 option for the Steelers. Hey, maybe Sam Laporta this year, right? Maybe he's just gonna get target. So
just getting the routes, really like a full-time ass player. And the guys behind us could take him. So
okay, so eliminator, do we take Douglas to try to push Taylor?
I think Taylor's like the last guy we really feel comfortable with. Whereas like there's so many other guys who I like Douglas more than other receivers, but there's a bunch of other guys who could get us like a decent enough.
So we take Mason Taylor. We're done at tight end. Gonna be taking 2 more receivers. Douglas, I think
Keenan Allen.
Yeah, Douglas goes.
De'Ami Brown.
Yeah, Johnu, I can see Mason Taylor just getting pepper and targets at some
Yeah.
point this year.
Where the offense is kind of just broken to a degree outside of the alpha, and you just gotta pepper him. Like he's just going to get targets. They're not going to throw to like Josh Reynolds 7 times a game, you know.
Yeah, no way. So Keenan Allen would be the pick here.
That's like a windmill slam into the.
Cool. I like it. Keenan Allen's our sixth receiver, and then we'll just take our favorite click next.
Yeah, is there
Where
anything buy wise? Yeah, just probably not a week 11 buy.
Yeah, week 11. Keenan Allen, I mean, obviously, we don't know what team he's going to be on, so it's hard to say.
Yeah.
But our bye weeks are pretty spread out. Quarterbacks are all different. RBs. We do have 2 week 14 buys, but I don't care at that point.
No, we got 4 other dogs. I mean, we're gonna talk about winning the flex, like
Oh, we're winning that flex, baby.
obliterating the flex.
Yeah.
Obliterating it.
Yeah, WTF and WTF in chat, guys. Yo, what's up, Humains?
It's good, man.
How we doing? Happy Friday. How the draft's been rolling in? Yeah, this is a cool eliminator. This is eliminator 57 right now, which, man, I think I want to save 50 for August, but I'll be honest, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that.
You're really feeling the vibe, the eliminator. It's just such an exciting format.
Yeah, I treat the eliminator kind of like a puppy, right? Like if there's no puppy, I'm just like, okay, fuck it, I'll do an eliminator. $10, fun format, kind of like how we talk about where it's like, I feel like I have an edge in this format, so I'm just going to keep drafting this.
I feel you, man. The eliminator is the one I really want to bank, and I'm like, oh, that's like the one I like did better in last year, but maybe I have an edge. So
Yeah.
I'm going to try my best to save what I can. But, it is tough for sure. It's so fun.
It's such a sweat, too, where like week 1, you can see like half of your teams just eliminated, right? Like $750, you just see gone week 1.
Yeah.
But
if this team stays healthy, that ain't happening. With these running backs, you could just look at the teams who didn't invest in running back, and they're out of here.
And that's where the EV and the edge comes, where I do think, I have a good understanding of how to structure these teams to survive at least. Like, I mean, look, injuries happen, certain players are not going to live with AP, but I feel like I have the cheat code. I feel like I know how to build these teams.
And that's why you do want to save some bullets, because like last year it became clear that like CMC was hurt like near the end, and like Jonathan Brooks was hurt near the end. And so on my team that made the finals, I had Chuba and Jordan Mason, and that was just like drafted mad late. So you're going to get some answers about some late injuries where ADP won't adjust fast enough, and you're just getting like a guy you needed probably. So it's sharp to save those 50 like you were talking about for sure.
Yeah, gotta save some 50, because like there's gonna be guys coming out of nowhere in August that you're kind of interested in. Just be like, hey, back kind of circle things around the Puka. I wasn't to Puka. Like Puka, I think I had like 9% of, 10% of, where I mean it's not a lot, but it's still probably a lot more than what people had. And the reason was because at that time I was like, there's no clear number 2 receiver. 5th rounder, yeah, not great, but still something. And then he was PFS #1 rated receiver, which to me, that meant something. I was like, you know what? He's getting great reports already. He was good in college. Like, there's probably something there. Now, did I think he'd be? Did I think he'd have the rookie season of the best rookie season ever? No, but I did wish I took him over Slayton more, because the Rams played the Giants that game, so a lot of it was like, okay, if I'm taking, Barkley, it's like I'm trying to take either Slayton for like correlation with the stack, or Puka, or I think Tutu Atwell, whatever. And at the end of the season, or at the end of the draft season, I was like, you know what? Let me just take Puka, and then it worked out, right? It worked out for some team.
The bull case was like, oh, we could be getting Robert Woods here, like we could be getting the Robert Woods replacement. That would have been awesome still.
That would have been if he was Robert Woods, that would have been the biggest smash probably in underdog history outside of Kyron Williams. But no, he gave you Justin Jefferson production he gave you.
Oh, it was insane.
Yeah, yeah, it was crazy. Week 1, I think he had like 20 targets or something like that, and everybody was like, "Wait, what? Like, is this real?"
Could you give me a little scroll here, if you
Of
don't mind?
course, yeah, yeah, yeah. Deontay's getting hype. Tucker's receiver 2, Torrey Holton.
How about
Amari
I think
Cooper.
I think Trey Tucker is pretty fun. I mean, Amari Cooper I could do every time, and we did go light at receiver. If we just say we get the CLV on Keenan and Amari,
Yeah,
other than that, I'd be Trey Tucker.
Trey Tucker. I'm cool. I'm cool with mixing Trey Tucker in. I think he plays a position that's different than the receivers there. So I do think he will be on the field. Spike our lineup. Get a little weird with it. Why not?
Yeah, he'll hit it a couple times. It is what it is. I'm a little worried about Ray McLeod, who I otherwise had really liked, just because they're saying that Kadero Hodge might mix in a little more. But whoever the wide receiver
Okay.
3 is for Atlanta, I think is going to have a pretty good year. Like last year, Ray had 765 scrimmage yards. That you'll take that in round 18.
For sure. Yeah, yeah. If you give me a receiver that's going to put that up, and then maybe he gets lucky with some touchdown upside, sounds like a smash to me.
No doubt.
Okay, so we just finished Eliminator 57 Eliminators. Going to be reviewing it. Also, I'm a more review, or we will be reviewing Zero's team, and also shout out Fuck Coolers who drafted with us as well. So Sus, we have a 3-6-7-2. Knicks, Goff, Daniel Jones. I think we did okay with quarterback.
Yeah, we have two guys who are going to spike regularly, and then Daniel Jones. If we run well on starts, that's a W.
Yeah, for sure. And then you talk about win the flex: Barkley, Chase, Chuba, Stevenson, Tank, and Eckler. Fire RB.
Yeah, my thing with BBM and those competitions, I'm trying to get I'm like weeks 15 to 17, I want to hit like 160, 160, 190. Eliminator, I'm trying to hit 120 to 140 every week. And with
Mm-hmm.
these running backs, and if our quarterbacks are healthy and these running backs are healthy, we're hitting 120 to 140 every week.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. Rice, Sutton, Olave, Myers, Pittman, Kenny Allen, Trey Tucker.
Let's get that Keenan Allen landing spot right. And, again, we're getting 50, 60 plus a week from our running backs. And, our receivers are going to do their part with 40 a week. Yeah, I
For
love
sure,
this
yeah.
team.
Yeah, same. And then Kraft and Mason Taylor, two tight ends that, have pretty good upside going into this year.
Yeah, I just don't want the guys who don't catch passes at tight end. Like, I don't want guys, get 3 points, 2 points. Like, just give me at least 6, at least 7. Keep me in the mix,
Yeah, yeah. Give us 6, 7 points and maybe some touchdown upside.
Exactly.
Yeah, so great team sus. Gonna be doing fuck coolers. He goes a 3-6-7-2. Hurts, Herbert, and Dak. So the quarterback room is stacked.
All right.
Stat. I had a little follow with Hurts. I think going through quarterback and eliminator is more optimal. Like you could say is more optimal to do just in general because you're gonna have weeks where your receivers, RBs, and don't hit. So if you do kind of luck out on that third quarterback to kind of get you over the hump, I think that's a good strategy in general. But we'll see how his team plays out. He has Bijan, Kenneth Walker, Tony Pollard, Rashad White, Rico, DJ Giddens. I feel like RB room he did a good job with he goes Bijan 1 2, which makes sense for eliminator.
I totally agree. You could very easily make the case for Bijan 101. Now, that's a healthy running back room to go with the quarterbacks. I'm digging it so far.
For sure, yeah. And you know what? He has 3 RBs projected for a lot of volume, and then I do like guys like White, Rico, who probably project for a decent role behind the starters.
Some standalone. The pure handcuffs in this don't hit quite the same unless you're getting them super cheap, like a Giddens, which is fun.
Yeah, I agree with that. Ladd, Jerry, Rashid, Keenan Coleman, Christian Kirk, Douglas, Noel. So receiver room is kind of weak. But I mean, he gets a nice follower with Ladd at pick 24. Just saw that right now. and then he's kind of relying on Shaheed, Keenan, Kirk. I like as a fit. Douglas is kind of like that, floor guy. So not my favorite receiver room, but it also can't say
Well,
I hate it.
what I do like is that, you go Christian Kirk, and if for some reason he's not working out, it's because Jalen Noel's working out. So you
Mm,
have some type of Houston pass volume locked up. And
that's a
I
good
think
point.
this room hangs a little bit on you know, can we get good quarterback play in Cleveland? And can Keon Coleman make that year two leap if we get both of those things? The, I think people who didn't do Eliminator as much last year don't realize how gross you can get at wide receiver.
Yeah,
Where like just if you're smashing a quarterback and he gets Trey McBride, like you're just I really like this team as long as you need something to work out in any draft, right? And if Keon Coleman can work out and Jerry Judy can cook, I mean, this team's kind of fun, low key.
for sure. And I think in Eliminator, I'm more okay with having my receiver room be weaker. Like if you're telling me I have Trey McBride, who's gonna smash all year, the quarterback room with Hurts, Herbert, Dak is gonna. You're always getting like a top 5, 6 performance probably. RB room is strong, and the receiver room is volatile. So you just kind of gotta get lucked out a little bit. So I
Yep.
like the team as well.
W team.
And then zero fucks, 2583 bill.
Ooh, nice value on Josh Allen. Love him in
Yeah,
Eliminator.
no, that's a great pick to get him that little five pick discount. Josh Allen Tua more than okay with his quarterback room. CMC, Achan, Mixon, Etienne, and Ray Davis.
That
That's just
Mixon value is crazy.
dude. Mixon at 57. Wow.
I would do some egregious things for that. And you're gonna love the wide receiver value he got too once you get there.
Yeah, he's definitely winning the flex. Ted Hunter Godwin, Jaden Reed, all have good values as well. Bateman, Hollywood, Wandell, and Tutu.
I'm glad
Man,
that 6 people advance out of this pod because I don't want to face this one a bunch of times. One time's enough. This is a good team. This is a really good team.
and this is a team that's only going to get better too because if you project like Hunter, because Ted maybe they don't start out on fire, but like by week 5 and 6, if this team's still alive, dude, like he's going to be like fucking just I don't know, just potentially even getting better as the year goes. Ertz, Juwan, Theo, more than okay with his tight end room as well.
I really like this team, man. And Josh Allen gives you so much, gives you so many options.
Flexibility, man.
You just
Yeah.
want that extra shot at the flex, or you could go 3 tight end, however you want to play it. Josh
Hmm.
Allen, these elite quarterbacks, like the real elite ones, like the Allen, the Lamar, the Jaden, they
No,
give you so much flexibility.
no, this is a great team. I mean, that Mixon value at 57 is just. I don't think Nick Chubb should drop Mixon 14 picks in the eliminator,
No,
but
this one zero, like mark this one. Let me know how this one does. I'm pretty sure this is gonna make a run.
yeah, 30-second rooms are Evie for sure. We clearly saw that. Yo, what up, Sean? Save me,
Ew.
Demario. No, great team zero, great draft in general, man. Had a great time. Appreciate everyone coming to stop by. Sus, plug what you got going on this week. Plug anything. Tell the people, just what's going on.
Yeah, we're probably gonna put out. Me and Sean just popped in the chat. Gonna probably put out another show. We just pop in, do drafts, put them up, have fun. Susedwards. If you just Google it on YouTube, it should pop up. And yeah, man, just enjoying best ball summer with the homies. WTF, Adam? What's good, man?
Yo, WTF Adam. Yeah, his YouTube channel is in my description. Go give it a follow. And Adam. No,
Adam. Couple
yeah,
Adams here. Meeting the Adam minds.
couple Adams here, man. But yeah, great draft. Appreciate when to stop by. Hit that sub button if you're not sub. And I'll be streaming again, I think either tomorrow or Sunday. But in the meantime, enjoy your guys' Friday night, and I'll see you guys real soon. Peace out.
Later.